Hello, Freedom Queen. Welcome back to the Freedom Queen podcast. Inside of this episode, I'm going to be talking about how I got featured in Times Square and what that was like. And if you want to be featured in Times Square, or you want your name in lights, you want these type of things to happen to you, then you're going to want to listen to this podcast. So when I first started my life in New York City, when I graduated from college, I moved to New York City, and I didn't have a lot. Like I had $500, a suitcase, and an air mattress, and I had a lot of hope and faith for what I was going to create in my life. And I really saw New York City as this big thing, like this place that kind of took over me. And I remember feeling like I was engulfed by it, like I was being eaten by New York City. And whenever I go to New York City now, I'll actually be going for another client weekend there in July with one of my private clients. Whenever I go there, I always think New York City is so small now. I'm like, it's not that big. You actually can create whatever it is that you want to create. I can create anything I want to create in New York City. And it's such a feeling that's so different now from how I used to go there. And when I used to go there, I think, oh, wow, New York City. And now I think, put my name all over the billboard. Get my client's name. Get your name all over these billboards. And so I won't go into the full story of me living in New York and quitting my job there, and we'll save that for another time where you can listen to more episodes. But in November of 2024, I hosted the first ever Freedom Queen Live conference. And Freedom Queen Live was created because I wanted a room for people like me. I wanted a room for different type of woman, the radical woman, the woman who's here to build a movement, a company, a brand. You're an activating leader. Like you just have this mission, and you're going to make it happen no matter what in your life. So I created this conference, and at the conference, I used a payment processor, and this payment processor allowed me to process a certain amount of money, because there's things that happen with other processors where if you process too much, they don't like that and they'll flag the account. And so I planned and I strategically set up different processors to protect the company and my clients from different processing things that can happen. And I processed so much with this one company that they said, we would love to have you in New York City. And so at the billboard. So they paid for the billboard in New York City. They paid for my flights, my team members' flights. They paid for her hotel. And I'm now also offering some of my VIP clients the connection with that processing company, because I thought they were an amazing company to collaborate with. And I'm always open to sharing companies that I feel like they do a really excellent job. I'm always open to sharing that with my clients. And so they paid for it. And it was really quite an experience for me, because I am just here to build a movement. I'm here to build. I love building. I love creating. I love leading. And when I was standing in Times Square, I was shaking actually. So I really pick up on a lot of energy. And when we first arrived in Times Square, I had no idea that there was some big event happening in Times Square. And usually in Times Square, there's not that much going on. You know, it's usually pretty quiet actually. Like there's a good amount of people, but there's not like thousands of people. And so we arrive and there's like fences up everywhere. New York City Police Department is set up everywhere. There's so many people there for this fight happening. And I'm thinking, okay, well, this has to work in my favor. And of course it did, because I believe that everything is always working in your favor, and there's always a silver lining, and there's always like, this is happening for you. So I arrive in Times Square and the billboard is delayed, but that gives us time to set up. And I sold tickets to come to the premiere. And I'm so happy I did that because it was an edge for me. It was something like, well, when I was building out the Times Square day for the clients that are coming to Freedom Queen Live, the top affiliate partners of Freedom Queen Live got to come to a VIP day in New York City with me. We went to Dior and they had a photo shoot with a team that we use inside of Freedom Queen. They had brunch together. We went to a dinner. It was really, really lovely. And then I went to the billboard. And the point of that is that I also sold tickets to come to the Times Square feature and have a crew of people, women, flew from all over to be there. And that was an edge because it wasn't just let me go stand there by myself. It was let me go stand there and have all of these people fly, travel, whatever to get there, walk to be there in New York City with me. And I got dressed up. I had my hair and makeup done, probably my favorite hair and makeup I've ever had. I think I want to get my hair and makeup done that way for the wedding. And I'm dressed in this beautiful, very timeless, elegant gown. And I am standing there. My mom is there being the cutest woman ever. She's so sweet. And I told the story inside of the Freedom Queen Facebook group, but there was a time in my life where one time my mother said to me, one day your name is going to be in lights. And I remember saying to her, no, it's not, Mom. And I really brushed her off and pushed it away. And so to have her standing there with me was really eye-opening. And when I experience things like this, I tend to go into the state of, I'm very present. I'm very present with people, but I often feel things in hindsight. So I feel and see things bigger in hindsight, right? That's what humans do. We see things and we feel things in hindsight. So let's say you experience something and then you look back on it and then you can really feel it. This is how I was with Freedom Queen Live. Like I did Freedom Queen Live and I was just in be present and go, be present and go, be present and go. And a lot of things with Freedom Queen Live, I was navigating in real time, no matter how much I prepared for that event. And I was able to process it afterwards. And same thing with Times Square. And so I'm there, my mom is there, and she's so sweet. And all I want to do is just protect her and hold her and love on her. My clients from all over the world or wherever they flew in from were there. And one of the NYPD officers, such a gentleman, lets me come on the other side of the fence. And so I'm like the only person out of hundreds of people, thousands of people in Times Square allowed to be on the opposite side of the fence. My team is there yelling, Freedom Queen, and clients are yelling, and I only have like the whole thing, and I think it was like 15 seconds. So I have 15 seconds to get out and like capture myself in Times Square, take the photos, take the videos, and then jump back, come back to the close to the fence so I wasn't in the way of NYPD. And then we did that like for 2 hours. And that was really incredible. But I think one of the most incredible moments, so we did all this stuff. Like I got photo videos with different clients. I got to talk with a lot of them. We did some like walking in the runway type of things down the street with Freedom Queen, Bridget, James, Ling behind them in the Times Square billboards. But one of my favorite moments was everyone was talking to one another and I was by myself. And I really process a lot when I'm alone. I process a ton when I'm alone in their space. And everyone was talking and chattering and, going whatever they were talking about. And I was just standing there and I was looking at the billboard go up and it would say Bridget James Ling, and I was on the horse and I was with my clients in it, and Freedom Queen is popping up on the billboard, and then it goes away. And that's when it really hit me that I had made it. But I said this to a client the other day in Freedom Queen Mastermind. I said, on the flip side of making it is that you never make it. There's always a new level of making it. But if you owned how much you've made it now, you would make it to where you want to be. And the billboard was flashing and with my name on it, and the people were there, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. But I also remember that woman who I was when I left college and moved to New York City with not a lot of money, with a suitcase and an air mattress and a turkey sandwich packed by my mother. I remembered her. And I've always been obsessed with the journey. I've always been obsessed with telling the best story that we can possibly tell. That's what I've always been in love with. I love the build. I love the creation process. I love making a movement. I love leading a movement. I love leading the self through some of the most difficult times, but also through some of the most beautiful times. I love building things. I love putting myself out there in a way where I know I'm then more likely to be targeted. I know that by putting myself out there, that I put myself out there for things that I don't want to experience. But I have to. I don't know what it is. I think it's a calling on my life, and I believe that if you're listening to this, maybe it's a calling in yours. And that's why I'm here to lead you and be your mentor and your guide. I can hold you in that. I can hold you in, you're a big deal human being. You're an iconic woman. You're a trailblazer. You're the pioneer who goes first. You're the one who sets the trail on fire. I can hold you in that. Because I've walked through things over the last 30 years of my life that I have experienced that a lot of people, particularly in the online entrepreneurial world, haven't experienced. All of it, the good and the bad. And if you want to have your name in lights, you're going to have to do legendary things. You're going to have to choose the story, choose the move that leads to the best story. Choose the move that leads to the greatest adventure of a lifetime. Choose the move that makes you go, remember when I was standing in Times Square and NYPD was everywhere and I sold tickets and clients flew from all over the world. I had my team there, my mom was there, and there's my name, and I'm standing there in New York City. Do you remember when? Remember when you chose to be so free? You chose to free yourself of any hate, of any negativity, and you just chose to be the light. You chose to do things that told a story so big and so incredible. Well, I hope and pray that you choose that story, because that's the story I'm always going to choose. And when you're looking for a mentor that can guide you and walk with you through some of the most crazy things ever, some of the things that, again, most people will never understand, and you want to build something that leaves a story for other people to read, that tells a story that people read as their bedtime stories, to write a life that literally feels like a book, then my mentorship is for you. I am so excited for you, what it is that you're creating, and I believe that you're listening to this episode at a perfect time in your life. And I always say, at any point in time, you can decide to become a bigger version of yourself, and maybe that time is right now as you're listening to this episode. I love you, and I will talk to you inside of the next Freedom Queen episode.